We on?
We are.
Okay. Hi to Tightwad sisters, Sharon and Rosie. We're going to bring you 2 reviews tonight, and we're done with all the Oscar-nominated movies, the top 6 categories.
Oscar?
Oscar. What are you saying, Academy Awards?
No, I thought you said Oscar.
Oscar. All right, so this is the first one we're bringing you. At Eternity's Gate. Nothing else in this movie got nominated but William Dafoe for Best Actor. It was the life of Vincent van Gogh.
Vincent van Gogh.
The painter Vincent van
Who
Gogh.
cut his ear off.
That's the one. This was a really powerful movie. This was, it was the post-impressionist. He was a painter. He lived in, this was done like in the early, like 1890s, around that time.
I think it was
91?
earlier than that, but yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was earlier than that.
It was at the end of his life.
Years since they found it, so it's 100 years.
So,
yes,
he was a frantic painter. He was not, we were saying this when watching the movie. He lived dirt poor. He had holes in his pants, holes in his shoes. His brother supported him. His brother was a merchant, sold out paintings. Couldn't sell any of his.
Nope.
He had a wife and a child, and they lived in Paris, and they were doing well, and they could pay his rent. The wife and child. He did.
Right.
And they gave him money to survive. But, he didn't have anything.
Nothing.
And
he had nothing.
And it's really sad to think that he died not knowing he was like one of the greatest painters of all time. Mm-hmm. Even like Beethoven and all them, and they're like an amazing impression on the world. Yet in their lifetime, they have nothing.
They didn't know it,
and they just lived dirt poor. They never knew the how famous they became. Anyway, he was a really troubled man.
Yes, he had mental problems.
He looked like he was either schizophrenic or he was just like outside of reality.
He painted thousands of pictures, though. Thousands. And the thing was, he said the only time he felt calm and normal was when he painted.
And alive.
So that's why, I believe, that's why there was thousands of pictures.
There was almost 3,000 in his lifetime. And they're still finding them everywhere because he put them everywhere.
He would just leave them in places.
Yeah.
He would put them on walls of places he stayed. And then he would move along. He would take some with him.
He'd meet somebody. He'd find them interesting. He'd paint them, and then he'd give it to them.
Leave them there. It was amazing.
And then he had this one lady who was his landlord. Mm-hmm. She gave him this big empty book, and she said, "Here, you can write notes in it." Well, she said,
"Well, I got a book for you." And he said, "You do? A book of what?" And she said, "Well, it's empty." She said, "So." She was thinking that he could.
No, he wrote books also.
Draw in it. Do sketches.
Well, he sketched in it. He had like, I don't know, a couple hundred.
64 in that book.
64 in that book?
64 in that book alone.
Looked like a big ledger book.
Sketches, raw sketches that he did.
And then when it got sent back to the lady, she didn't know what it was. She stuck it in a bookcase.
She just put it in a bookcase.
Stuck it in a bookcase. That was found in 2016.
2016.
How much that book must be worth? They never said $1 million. Oh, 24 million? Where'd you find that at?
It was on that thing I read.
Oh, $24 million
that book was worth. Yep.
He paints Starry Night and the wildflowers and
sunflowers.
Stuff.
Those sunflower pictures you see everywhere. That's it. That's his picture.
And how he painted, he was very intense, and he put a lot of paint on it.
Heavy
and it was
paint.
all like sculpture even. It was like sticking off the paper. And that's why he wasn't popular. They said he overpainted.
Right. So when we were watching this movie, it was extreme. It was just like, I was like, oh my God. I was dozing and I was like, oh my God. And the way they filmed it showed him his feet running a lot of the time.
And like
through
quotes he was saying. And you could see that he was really unstable. It was a shame.
But, again, so I thought about this movie all day.
So she rethought it again.
I mean, I'm not saying it's on the top of my list by all means, But it was an interesting movie.
It was, and William Dafoe was amazing. William
Dafoe was amazing.
Off the Richter scale, amazing.
Is he going to win Best Actor? No, I don't believe so. Not with the competition he has. Could he have won it any other time?
Any other year?
Yeah, probably.
Sorry, William. Any other year you could have been up there.
Yeah, I mean, he was really good in this movie.
Oscar Isaac is in it. He plays another painter, Paul Gauguin, and they were very good friends. And he had like a friendship with him, but a codependent friendship with him. And he didn't want him to leave, and he finally said he couldn't live in this little town. He was going back to Paris. He started getting famous and selling paintings, and that's why he cut his ear off.
I was sleeping during this time.
Like a dramatic step to try to get him to stay. And he left. So he gave the ear to the lady that works at the bar, like the girl who worked in That's who he gave it to.
How long was I sleeping for?
Most of the movie.
No, that was the only time I fell asleep, really. Was when I woke up and he had this thing on his. I was like,
he actually signed himself.
And I'm like, I'm not going to say. She's going to say, "Were you sleeping?" And she never asked me, so I went and I opened my eyes.
I looked over a few times. He's walking around with a dead giveaway.
He's walking around with this thing on his ear, and I thought, "Oh, when did he cut his ear off?" All right, well, I'm not going to ask because she'll be freaking out. She'll be saying, "What are you saying?" Anyway, it was a slow-moving movie. It really was. My sister said it was literally like watching
paint dry.
All right?
Literally. Now, let me tell you, he signed himself into a insane asylum. He was in there for a while. He painted 800 of...
I'm not saying a word because she's always challenging me that I'm not saying a word. Go ahead, go.
He painted 800 portraits while he was in the insane asylum.
There you go.
He did almost 3,000 in his life.
Think about what you're saying.
And there's a little controversy about how he died.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know this.
He was supposed to have said to commit suicide when he was 36. And William Dafoe played him, and William Dafoe's in his early 60s. But
was it you?
Vincent Van Gogh looked really beat up. I mean, he had a rough life, and he looked beat up. So he played a guy who died at 37. So that was a pretty big stretch.
You know what? He looked like him.
He looked a lot like him.
He looked a lot like him.
Anyway, the controversy was either he committed suicide or he was shot by somebody else. There's a couple different movies out about his life. Some go with the one theory, some go with the other theory. Mm-hmm. I guess we're never going to find out because on his deathbed, he said he did it himself. But it
was sad.
But he was protecting the two kids that did it.
It was a very sad movie for a man that was so insanely talented. It was a very sad movie.
His life was
horrible.
He
had nothing. He had
no love life at all. He had no children.
Nothing.
Nobody really cared about him, and everybody kind of kept their distance because
huge talent.
And everybody was kind of a little leery of him because he was so
he was a little weird,
off the hook crazy.
And a lot of people said your paintings they're so ugly. I can't even look at them. Get them off my walls.
And he was tortured by that. He was very tortured by that.
Go too long in this movie. I wasn't going to make it this long. You know, it's 7:43. Let's go.
Okay, I'm giving it 3.
I think I'm going to give it 3.
The acting was amazing.
I'm going to give it 3, yeah.
I feel bad for William any other year, but, you know, they did recognize him for this, so I'm happy that he got the nomination.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely agree.
But like we said earlier in the year, the talent for the men in this competition
is astronomical this year.
Everybody deserves it.
Astronomical for the male actors, yeah. Okay, so I'm giving it 3.
I'm giving it 3.
Don't go to the movies. If you ever see it on TV and you're
I would watch it.
It's interesting.
It's a piece of history. I would watch it.
It is. Last night when I was watching, I'd say, "My God, give me a gun." But today, after I thought about it again, I was pretty interesting.
So overthinks it.
I found myself talking about it, which which is
very
half decent.
Okay,
movie, yeah.
We're coming back in a few minutes. We're going to see Can You Ever Forgive Me? Melissa McCarthy, Best Actress,
and our very last movie for the Academy Awards.
Thank you.
Okay?
Hard work put in this year. Okay, see you in a few minutes.
A couple of things we didn't want to watch. All right, bye. That's not good.
Is it off?